Just wish you knew.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 of Team Ivory vs. Yangon Galacticos. We have not changed sides throughout this series. Overall, the two teams have kind of stuck where they preferred to be, and especially the reason why we joined supposedly this late into the draft is the fact that Team Ivory have been brutally picking extremely fast through no reserve time usage at all. But yeah. Overall, it's looking more and more likely that Yangon Galacticos might have figured out Team Ivory after their loss in Season 4 against them in the Grand Finals. Yeah, with the Sven lineup, Yangon Galacticos have once again brought up something fairly balanced, although their supports are technically the heroes that have the ranged capabilities. This Mirana could still go basically anywhere in this situation. Well, I don't think young PH would want to play Mirana mid. That is some Sumail level of what the hell. But we'll see. Overall, in general, it could be questioned if you want to play Kunkka into the Void Spirit at all. I would highly advise against it. Void Spirit can basically use Dissimulate to just evade X-March the spot, and yeah, Resonant Pulse just hurts too many of your players. So You can't go for the pullback, but dissimulate will always be there. And yeah, in general, the Kunkka is just not going to have a good time against the Void. But a solid carry is what I'd like to see here. As Team Ivory will use almost all of their reserve time for this very, very last pick.
Monkey King. Select your hero. With the
Monkey King it is. As Ken will be taking that into the mid lane, Aizen will be playing a carry Void Spirit of all things. I don't believe on this tier of a league that you'd go for a position swap. Wouldn't be unheard of, but I'm quite certain with Aizen taking the Sanctuary facet that he's basically taking it to the carry lane. And yeah, no, it's still going to be Young PH going into the Kunkka. And Ivory with the interesting draft here. I will be interested to see the Immortal version of the Wukong's command, so it's all up to Ken to be able to execute it with the dragon around the perimeter of the circle. Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. That's the one we're about to see as well. Yeah, Rupido once again on the Tiny. Last game around, it did not go well. And of course, Galacticos picking up in game number 1, have lost game number 1. Is it a sign against the Tiny? Or is it something else? Is rather the question. As we start off game number 3 with a pause. First match of the day. And a whole lot of pausing. Instant mischief coming out from Ken. I do appreciate that. As it's looking more and more likely. Are they actually switching positions? I don't think so. Shouldn't be that way. Just need to talk. I just need to talk. I just want to talk to him. Peter, put down the shotgun.
Peter, put down the shotgun. Please, Peter.
But with a 5-man smoke up Ivory, they're just bum rushing out onto the lane.
That was lame.
Support diff, what can you do? With a 5-man smoke up, here we go. YG, it's your turn. I think Rupido will not overextend his position to get caught.
30 seconds to battle.
There's not going to be a smoke break by the Monkey King either. YG planning to go on the long way around. Just to get on top of Rupido.
This pleases me to no end.
They're going for it hard. Smokes break, Stormhammer hits, Rain, and not gonna go for the arrow. It's gonna be a triple take on Boundary Runes instead. As YG will be happy with this. Well, so far, the team that did get more of those Boundary Runes, or the potential First Blood along with it, did win the game. So there's a bit of truth as to how strong that is, or how important it is. And yeah, Diego Galacticos just has the more straight up draft in this one. Although, yes, the JG abandoned lane can be exploited a bit. And of course, a lot of eyes on Grims and his fatal bonds. not a factor to be underestimated by any means. Nice range creep denies on the second wave as well. Just a lot of attention to detail. Is yeah, the king of the melee matchups, the Monkey King. Gonna have a decent time against the Kunkka, but you don't need to fret for young PH in any means. Once again, the pause coming through. As KSH is complaining about lag. Quite uncertain what the Void Carry will do, although the build is already being queued up. Radiance into a Yasha, and a few more items we do not see in the item queue just yet, but maybe after Power Treads we will have a clearer picture of what's going on. But yeah, high mobility carry with potential backline jumping. Could be an interesting take. Bison plays it similarly to a Faceless Void without a chrono, but basically instead of a time walk that just repositions you, a time walk, the astral step that damages a lot of people. I can see it work to some extent, but yeah. The Hex Sacred Arrow combo is definitely something to watch out for. As there goes the Shackle, but Shadow Word protects. No Dissimulate just yet. Curse of Awareness is hard at work, as it's going to be first blood on Aizen. The caster curse is real, people. You start talking about someone, and you just bring bad luck on top of them. If you guys ever become casters, use it wisely. The Big Mouth comes rather little responsibility as the Boundless Strike onto young PH. Should keep him at bay for now. Those Jingu Masteries hurt. SH. And of course, Aizen. After similarly explosive starts, it's clear as day that YG are not the better laning team out of these two, but YG in the mid game have proven to be quite stable in their positioning and their strategies. That's basically what they need to hold on to. As the Warlock gets jumped, Grimm's Shadow Word, Resonant Pulse is just not working overall. If YG put their hands together, they can just out-damage. They have to protect the hero's Drick, eating a lot as that Sacred Arrow is just coming up the keister of the Raven. That's just not a good place to be. There's your problem right there. That's a Sacred Arrow coming from Arana. Kaboosh. Oh, what a block from Rupido. He needed to move 6 pixels to the right, and he got it off perfectly. Aizen with a pull-in. Skill A. Resonant Pulse is available. He will use it, but Shadow Word is just not enough. Even though it's level 2. But as mentioned, laning stage is going bombastically for these teams. Interestingly enough, young PH
Step lively now.
refusing
Your admiral is on board.
his ability to move. Damn, the attack ping sounds are just so weird. Can't really get used to them. Although at least the spectator pings are perfectly fine. Alright, been using them much as Aizen. Gonna get caught. Nice fatal bonds onto 3. The simulate is now available for Aizen if he wants to go for the escape play. The young PH's gank is just not gonna lead into anywhere. Sacred Arrow. Sorry, takes out the catapult. The 6-minute rune is gonna be on the bottom. It is an arcane. It looks like Ken gets to keep it.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
On the prowl.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Skill A. Out goes the boundless strike. Good. After the foul play, it's an easy kill on the shaman. First kill on the board for Ivory. That's Rupido trying to get rid of Zarain. And of course KSH. I don't think this is going to be contested much. Boundless strike onto JG. Where the hell's the dragon? Interestingly enough, it's not visible. I might be confusing that helmet with the immortal one. Oh, as Rupido. Takedown onto the Tiny was attempted. The Starstormer did not hit 2 on the Tiny, but the kill's still gonna happen due to the leap of faith.
Radiant should look to their middle tower. Dire's bottom tower is in danger.
1k net worth lead on Ivory. Laning stage is over, and we can once again see top 3 positions taken by Ivory on the net worth chart. But as previously mentioned, laning doesn't seem to be the problem of Ivory today. They're just freaking solid on that front.
B03 things.
The prize is mine.
Zarain.
Dire's top tower is in danger.
I hear Ghost Ship. I check out Ghost Ship. Beautiful. Dodge out coming through as PH. Just gonna burn down.
Look to their middle tower. There is little hope for Dire's middle tower. Radiant's top tower is in danger. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Rupido. With a much better start than the previous game. Grims. I've already used the Black Grimoire. YG should keep a distance. Three, 4-3. Both teams are on a little bit of an edge. But Ken, even with his backup dancers, I don't think they can make an easy kill happen on the Mirana.
There is little hope for Dire's middle tower. Dire's
First turn 1 tower will be the mid lane on the Dire side.
the Radiant's
Just before the day rises. KSH already farming ancients here. He uses Godswing for it. And Zarain
Dire's top tower
managing to
is
bay
under
out the Balance Strike at least. They pinged the up top as there's no cross-vision reference from YG. But with the Sven gone, there's basically little to no reason to actually go for this gank, other than taking out the tier 1 tower.
Now the fight resumes. But you won't follow the same thread.
At the same time, the Sven
Dire's
accelerating
top tower
farm
is
due to the stacks made by the Mirana and friends. YG could have a decent outcome on this game.
Dire's top tower is falling.
But 2 tier 1 towers gone.
Its middle tower is
Let's see kind of World of Hurt they can bring to the Void Spirit instead. Massivest of massive stacks made inside the triangle. Young PH. It doesn't catapult them all the way to the top of the network chart, but it does give them the utility. Just pick up that blade mail fast enough. There's a mischievous tree on the mid lane. Having queued up the Diffusal Blade. Quietly wondering who the main targets will be for the Monkey King. You could get a 1+4 type of situation as well with Ace running interference. Currently he is sitting at a casual 2,700 gold. As his Yasha is now confirmed to be going for a Mantis style.
Regeneration.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
As everyone's calling for the attack of the tower.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Rapido. They're gonna go for the Avatos combo. Nice reveal on top of the Sven. Drick trying to go for the pull-in. They'll lock KSH in place. Despite him attempting to use the Mask of Madness for a little bit of survival. Zarain just not gonna make it here on time. There's Ken. On the other side of the map, or specifically on the mid lane, Young PH will get taken care of. And even though with the biggest rooster red you've ever seen, the Gazen should still be fine on the bottom. Good with a toss back, in with a boundless. Ken taking care of business.
Radiant should look to their middle tower.
14 minutes in the second round of Wizard Shrine boosts all coming through.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
Do specifically enjoy this mechanic being the way it is. So I am kind of worried about jungles being objective, lacking objectives overall. It does add a bit more importance to the triangle that it used to lack, even though it used to have those classic 3 stackable zones of farm. The 3 smoke. Ivory. They're gonna go for that no man's land in the jungle. They see the Mirana, but obviously the biggest target is KSH himself. Avalanche onto skill A. Not the target you'd want, but the target you need and deserve. Jingle Mastery straight onto the Shaman. As Akunka tries to run away.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not much to show for it though. They have 10 kills on the board. Only 1,000 net worth lead advance on the Ivory side. Aizen. A little bit of a brave run on from JG. He does not have Burrow time. Scratch that. He levels it up just in time as the Avalanche is more of a deterrent for him not to run away. Or to just set a boundless strike play with the Jingle Mastery for the Monkey King, who jumps forward onto KSH. They go a toss back, but with the Chaotic Offering they will keep KSH in play.
Thanks for playing Dota.
As two huge ultimates
Double kill.
will be used in favor of this. The aggressive Chicken Head is hitting hard though. Before he right clicks into the Chicken Head, are needed to take it down. There's Young P8, Skele. X down, good with a jump over. They can get a lock on onto Young PH. The Fatal Bonds lands, but do they have the damage for it? Aizen arrives, but he's just out of juice as KSH. The God Strength, God Rage coming through. With 3 kills on their hands. The Fatal Bonds still doing a lot of work though. And that is still the first objective picked up by KSH and the boys. It's still going to be a deny, but they get away with 3 kills and 2.6k of a turn. It has been mentioned before, England Galacticos' lineup is a bit more easier to execute. And they did commit to a fight without the Chaotic Offering on the Ivory side. The fact that the Fatal Bonds came in so late into the fight definitely wasn't a big help.
Double down.
Radiant should look to their bottom tower. The Radiant glyph is now active. Radiant's bottom tower is in line.
Is it the Monkey already done with the defusal? Ken is already eyeing up the BKB
Dire should
for a bit more extra.
tower.
Another good cut, as it should be. As committed attempt onto Aizen will lead into the potential death
Dominating, I guess.
of Zarain. GG, bro time on standby. That's Ken. Just disengages the bottom lane overall. Young PH.
Is under attack.
Going for a cut again. GG. And straight on Aizen.
Radiant's bottom tower is no more.
As Young PH. Satisfied with results. Goes up onto the top lane. Dead-ass silence at minute 20. Except for the top lane where we do have a little bit of back and forth, but with the Moonlight Shadow protecting you are kind of fine. Let's see if this Moonlight Shadow will carry away the Team Ivory side. A little bit of play onto JG until the backup arrives. Nice attempt at an escape, but the setup is just too much. Too many players as KSH comes in with the God Strength once more. But with Grimm's dead here, this is just easy pickings for YG.
Double kill.
Double kill on the Sven. Dissimulate coming through as they try to make contact with JG, but pull back into the fray. They'll take out 2 cores for the price of none. Another 2.8k turnaround for the Dire side. And YG, for the first time since the early minutes of the game, will take the net worth lead.
From the shadows.
I was thinking of what Driz and Drick could bring into the mix here. But with Roshan down, I don't even know if chasing it is worth it. A little bit of an interesting development. Both teams absolutely ignoring Tormentor, which is almost like a clockwork nightmare timing for most teams. None of these teams don't seem to be interested in the free shard.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire are scanning for enemies.
Well, the Torment gets taken down, but 2.5 minutes too late. It does give YG the opportunity to just focus on the bottom tier 2. I don't know. It doesn't really look like Team Ivory want to react to this. They could go for the tower exchange. Nothing says no to that. Also, on the other hand, of course, protecting against the Sven seems just a tad bit pointless. They've got an Aegis, God Strength, and God knows what else as. Young PH pulling themselves back into safety. Moonlight Shadow for the positioning and the possible aggression.
Tower is under attack.
As Grims just needs to keep a distance. Oh, here they come. There goes the Fatal Bonds along with the Chaotic Offering. KSH could lose life number 1 here, as they will just slap it down. Ken, ready to part ways with a little bit of play, went in with an interesting approach as KSH just cuts them down. YG. Baba J. YG, why did you go there? For anyone confused, by the way, this is the part of the new facet where basically the Monkey King turns into one of its clones, but you don't know which Monkey King you actually become out of the ones in the circle. Kind of unfortunate, to be fair, for good old Ken. But it does function like a mini Blink Dagger within your own circle.
The entirety of your existence was but a single moment.
Tribute to my house.
Bahrain. Farming under perfectly good visual conditions.
Is under attack.
Good old leap
Tower is under attack.
to get farther and farther away from the tiny. There you go. That's the hero I was looking for. But BKB done. Can Mr. Black Myth Wukong just do a tad bit more? His Eisen already working on his Aghanim Scepter. Silence and 2 charges on that Ags.
For enemies.
Still don't like the Void Spirit Shard ability.
Dire structures are fortified.
But such is life.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
22 kills on the board in 26 minutes.
Dire's top
I can hear the yawns coming down from the Southeast Asian mountain ranges. Not many mountains, to be fair, compared to like the Himalayas, but there are some great mountain formations in the region, if you've never been.
Clear as clean water.
Dead set and even in terms of the net worth, but Gaben has kind of made up his mind, 63% in favor of the Dire winning this one. A little bit of quiet once again before the storm. Chaotic offering available with all its glorious benefits, though. As a good catch onto Skillet. Wukong's command straight onto the Shaman. And the Balance Strike will secure it. Can YG turn this into a counterplay? Onto Rupido and anyone else.
for enemies.
They are pinging that someone's here, but a little bit preemptive with the Torrent. Out comes the Chaotic Offering onto 2 with the upheaval. JG trying to get the hell out of dodge, but used up into the air exactly what that use is for against the Abaddon. And an easy takedown for Ivory. KSH will be disconnected along with 80% of the YG team.
I'm in danger.
Kale, Kale, Ale, Ale. No Roshan, there's no Roshan. Kale, ole, ole, ole. Yeah, what do I do in this situation? Oh, yeah. Lotus Orb coming through on Zavrain. As young PH. Post BKB, kind of struggling to decide what item should be next. Maybe there was an item queue, but there's definitely none.
Are you ready to rumble? Are you ready to rumble?
Sim, no idea what that means. Well, a little bit of peaceful time. Communicating with the admin team if we should throw it to a technical break. As 4 people are disconnected on the YG side. Yes, it is confirmed. We are on technical break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back as soon as that is fixed. But yeah, seeing as basically we're in the middle of engagement and we kind of messed up on that. It is what it is. But we shall be right back as soon as the technical pause is over. But BRB. Okay, ladies and gents, it looks like the admin half confirmed with the two teams. Yeah, we were waiting for Skillet to just reconnect into the game. Just reconfirming packet losses. Things should be okay. SKSH is just gonna get ripped to shreds or not. BKB for the catch. Astral Step for the continuation. Aizen on the chase as the Mirana does not make it out. Despite the TP sound successful going through. KSH gets wiped down. And only Skillet surviving the encounter because he was just not in it. Technically, we could call it a team wipe after all that technical pause. But Ivory, after getting cleaved down 2 to 3 times, have finally gotten a team wipe on the YG boys. But it definitely gets you out of the tempo. Disconnecting, frustration, internet issues. I would also argue that YG just suffered a bit of a tempo loss in this game. We shall see. With the Sven resuming or returning back into play shortly, YG could continue this baller lineup type of style of gameplay and then move on to the next objective. But they will need to win those fights the way they used to in the previous encounters. Grims is still their target number 1. Fatal Bonds could rip them to shreds. There's Drick taking care of the second tier 2 tower.
Set my jib.
BG calling in for a mid-step. Counter smoke initiated as JG jumping into the thick of things. Out comes a bro time, but out they come. Here comes the cleave. Grims is gone! And without the Warlock, this is just a wrecked play. JG. I guess you can call it a sleight of hero gameplay coming out from him as KSH disengaging, looking for the good cleave jump in.
More than 2 kills, but less than 4 kills.
And even though they take 2, with the buyback, Rupido can't find the control on the supports. Not the best ghost ship this time. Coming out from Young PH. So the tidal wave, decent push, but not perfectly timed. There's Aizen running through it. The Midrax is gone. 20-12 with a 10k net worth lead. Ivory managed to turn this thing on its head. That one team wipe basically puts them back on the map. Despite all this, Gaben is still not super hopeful for the Ivory side. The 5-man smoke of YG is coming. Yangon Galacticus. Is JG gonna jump into the thick of it again? Aizen with the Aegis. Just raising it. Radiance, Aghanim Scepter, Manta build has been paying off for him hard. Moving on to the Scotty next.
Radiant's courier has been slain in cold.
As the 5-man smoke over YG doesn't actually make it. Nice play though on the Hurricane Pike.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
2 couriers going down, but you're sacrificing Roshan, your last tier 2 tower, and possibly a full lane. Or not. Good cuts with the Mirana, but one catapult has made it as here comes KSH. Grims is all you want, and Grims is all you get for now, as Aizen jumping in with Ken, forcing them apart with the Wukong's command. They will take out Skill A. But with Grimm's back in play, YG cannot risk anymore. A little bit of that net worth lead was fabricated down by YG. The buyback of Grims is definitely a bonus. But they gotta get it into a dieback on this Warlock. Definitely keeping Grims safe is their #1 priority. On the Ivory side, it's KSH even looking for a harpoon. More things to catch the Warlock with. Despite the technical pause and losing Roshan, this is not the most horrible situation I've seen. Actually, I'd like to congratulate Yangon for actually bouncing back just a bit into the game though. But they will need to take some risks now. Something like this, Aizen. They will need to either turn or address the void somehow. As Yangon going into Mr. Dissimulate. Decent guess with the torrent, but yeah. As mentioned during the draft, Xing the void is basically the most pointless part. As a torpedo, toss back onto the Kunkka. A smackdown on the Tiny. As Aizen pulled back in, but it's not really working as Ken. There's just no detection on the 2 cores as here comes the Kunkka, silence down, out comes the BKB, KSH looking for the angle, patience, patience, patience on the Sven. As the Kunkka goes down, they're right next to each other, KSH now, go, 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 but no. With Drick and the boys behind him, it's just not worth it. Grims is still priority #1 and they just did not have the visual on the Warlock. As soon as I saw the Warlock in my eyes, then it was on the tip of my tongue that he shouldn't go. The discipline is there. As we check on buybacks, it's 500 gold away for young PH. Only 1 set of a tier 3 and racks remain as the Shaman goes down, but buyback is available. This could be a now or never situation for Yangon. As the first series of European Pro League, World Series Southeast Asia, could just end in a tragedy. Turn around, KSH, going for Aizen, that's the Aegis. Out it comes as Grims takes out JG and Skill A. That's a dieback on the Shaman. As it's a 5v4 now, but borrowed time is not available for 3 more seconds. KSH with the patience That's all it takes. God strength. On to Grims you go. That's a dieback on the Warlock. More. But he needs so much more. The Wukong's command along with the Jingu Mastery. A bit more on the monkey is all you want. But you're not going to get the play. Buyback is now available on the Sven due to the assist gold. Can they come back for another round? Here it comes. As the X. Young PH did not press it while the Void Spirit was on dissimulate. But the Astral Step will keep the distance. Ken. Going to reconnect as Young PH with a little bit of HP left. 240 gold needed. So the buyback of the Kunkka. But you need to kill Aizen. You need to kill Aizen as Ken comes back with the Boundless Strike. KSH, it's all up to him. As he tries to go for one last cleave, but it's just not gonna happen. Ivory, shut it down. 31-17. 10 minutes after the unpause. Ivory. We're in good moods, good spirits. And Yangon, despite A for effort, just cannot turn it around. I will say this, it's always bad to disconnect, panic, go for the router, talk with the admin. Once you compete, you, like most of us, have felt it if you've ever competed. And despite that, Yangon, I think they bounced back pretty okay in the game. There was a little bit of hope at minute 35, but it is what it is. I think the trigger discipline on KSH, I definitely point out that the Sven was a definite MVP on the Dire side, but yeah, carry Void Spirit. It's not the worst things of the worst things, but definitely this was more of a 1+4 type of lineup play from Ivory, and they executed it rather flawlessly compared to everything else. But overall, first series of the day is done, and we are going to give it over to my friends and colleagues. I do believe it is Kojda or Plate taking over for us here in the next series. But I've been Dodai. Ivory will win the series 2-1 over Yangon Galacticos. See you guys.
of the result table for the OBS. And make sure to use the new gift. It's also in the server. No, the gift. You know, the little signet on the bottom of the screen. Yeah, but you had that perfectly down on the last season as well. Make sure to change it to the new one. That's it. Enjoy, have fun. Oh, tiring match. Okay. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Letting go of the past, I can never understand. So many questions, why? Well, everybody's dancing, 'cause I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Since you took hold of my broken heart, just like a miracle. You're the angel, the one I've been waiting for, waiting for. You're the angel, the one that pulled me out of the dark. Oh, I've been waiting for, waiting for. The one that pulled me out of the dark. You're the angel. You're the and I lost myself again. You hit just like a drug. This time I won't let you in. You're playing with fire. No, I didn't on the bread, but this time I won't collide like I did yesterday. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give it, I can't give it, I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. With your breath and your body for me. I can't give it, I can't give in. I've already run with the wolves. Far from the light of the day. I can't go back to you, I'm stronger today. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot far away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm stronger today. I'm stronger today. Tú tienes la pócima para enloquecerme, pero voy a draw the line. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay, we got to stay away. Sé que como un trofeo quieres tenerme, pero I don't need no one. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. We got to stay away. No, baby, no setbacks. No, baby, no, that's fine. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give it, I can't give it, I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. With your breath and your body for me. I can't give it, I can't give in. I've already run with the wolves. Far from
Yeah, just put in the
the
pillow
light
from
of
this
day.
fast talking.
I can't go back to you, I'm stronger today. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot
Oh,
far
good.
away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm
Yeah, I
stronger
like this because I have 5 accounts. You can say. Oh, you can't? You're good? Okay. Yeah. All good. All good, bro. Have fun. Bye-bye.
I never thought I'd feel like this. Yeah. I never thought I'd feel like this. Ooh, never thought I could. I never thought I'd be on my shit, be on my. I'm spending my time in love like I should. No more struggling for my blood. Yeah. I never thought I'd feel. I never thought I'd feel like this. constellations. They remind me that this life cannot be lost forever. I watch my generation. It's so evident this world will soon be gone. Will soon be gone. Can we leave for tonight? Run away. Let's run away, run away. Can we get out of sight?
Hello everyone and welcome to the EPL World Series Southeast Asia season number 6. This time around, of course, it is the group stages. We already went to one through group stage best of 3, and I believe that was went in favor to Team Ivory, and now we are going to have Interactive Philippines versus Team Grey in a best of 3. These are, of course, the group stage. It's a round robin format, so a lot of matches to be played before you eventually head into those playoffs. Of course, you have the likes of Tech Free Gaming, who were the previous season champions, also competing. You have the Costawiks as well, and Interactive Philippines is a team that has traditionally done reasonably well, I would say. Not exactly having as much success as perhaps Nemesis had, of course, but I would say a lot of these teams in the EPL series or in the Southeast Asian region, all of these tier 2 to tier 3 teams are actually a lot closer in terms of skill level. But just heading straight into the draft, right? A lot of meta bans coming out, and Undying being picked up by Interactive Philippines, probably going to be played on that position 3 as a core Undying rather than a support. The support Undying has worn off in terms of popularity. Meanwhile, of course, you have Pangolier over on the other side, and traditionally the offlane Pangolier has also lost out on popularity. So in my estimation, we'll probably see a Pangolier on the mid lane and an Undying over on that offlane. I'm curious to see what Interactive Philippines will be sending down towards their own mid lane to counter out the Pangolier if they want to. They are banning out heroes that do well, the Ember Spirit and the Puck, but actually they're going to go in for that Kunkka. Does have a bit of synergy, in particular with the Undying, in the sense that, you know, the X mark, it buys a lot of time for those zombies to start spawning, right? If you use the X mark, you wait a few seconds, and then you bring the X mark target back, the torrent sends them up into the air, the ghost ship, the stun comes in as well, if you're able to land your entire combination, right? But if you're able to do that, you're going to have those 3 to 4 seconds in which the zombies from the Undying are going to continually spawn, and hey, if you get multiple heroes hit with your ghost ship, then that's all the more better. But Grey are actually going to compound into kind of an team fighting composition, as they've picked themselves up a Phoenix, and certainly their team fighting potential is pretty good, right? And it's two heroes that don't necessarily actually care about the Undying zombies, right? The Phoenix egg is not going to be hit by those zombies, and faced up against the Kunkka and the Undying, the egg should be able to survive in those team fights, particularly as you do have a Pangolier that's traditionally going to be playing that tempo pick, that kind of chaos and disruption in those team fights, right? So you have the egg for the slow burn, and you have the Pangolier for the chaos and the constant push and shoves. At least that's what Grey are hoping to achieve in this. They're also going to be going for a Tuskar, additional amounts of survivability being added, not to mention you can essentially create a shell of ice shards around that Phoenix egg, just make it even more difficult for Interactive Philippines to find a path to taking down the Phoenix. And not to mention a very aggressive support, right? Can get a lot of kills. What I'm interested to see is how they're going to achieve that in that laning phase, because Interactive Philippines so far have picked up a lot of tanky heroes, right? And Grey are hoping for a good laning phase, because you have even your safe lane, right? The Phoenix, if this is a position 5 Phoenix, is still going to be playing pretty aggressive. That's what the hero is known for. Tuskar over on that top side, or rather bot side, over on that off lane, is probably going to be playing pretty aggressive too. But let's see what both of these teams do go for further, as they are going to have to reveal more cores now. Interactive Philippines, I think that this is should look to be a stronger pick. Of course, the Doom is banned out, but you need a hero that can actually deal with that Phoenix once that egg comes online. Not to mention, you need to have some hero that can control the Pangolier. You don't want that Pangolier to have those free reigns. And the Morphling, you know, natural Manta style builder, so you will have a good time in that against that egg. Sure, you won't have the ideal laning phase because you will get shoved around a bit, and potentially your farm is going to suffer. That's what I expect, at the very least, that Grey should be able to do against that Morphling. But later on, right, if this Morphling makes it through that laning phase, right, and they should, because they are picking themselves up in Undying, so their Interactive Philippines are looking to put up the pressure on other parts of the map so that their Morphling can continue to farm up. That's, I mean, they've already set down their win conditions for this match, and they're just looking to amplify their already potentially pretty dangerous pick-off lineup. They're going to add in a Batrider to that mix, and we've all seen what the Batrider can do, right? And I think the biggest example of this would be that game number 3, or rather not game number 3, it was actually, I believe, the final game between Nemesis and Talon for that TI spot, where Nemesis actually ended up beating out Talon. And in my estimation, that was all simply because of the Batrider. The Batrider is just simply those napalm stacks. I mean, even against buildings, it's a bit insane the amount of damage that's coming out. But for Team Grey, they're going to go in towards an Ancient Apparition, one of the best supports against a Morphling, provided you're able to get that Morphling hit by that Ice Blast. And that's something that Grey might struggle with because they don't exactly have a lot of control. They only have one reliable stun, and it's not all that reliable, right? The Tuskar Snowball is going to take quite a bit of time before it reaches the Morphling, and there is no guarantee that you'll even be able to hit Interactive Philippines with that snowball, because you can just waveform out. Not to mention, you have the Kunkka, who is going to be providing some much needed saving grace with the torrents, with the ghost ship coming in, providing that Admiral's Rum to his allies. And then you also have to contend with the Tombstone and the potential counter initiation from Batrider. So for Interactive Philippines, their draft is looking pretty solid, provided they can make this Morphling's farm work out. 3 to 4 seconds in which the zombies from the Undying are going to continually spawn, and hey, if you get multiple heroes hit with your ghost ship, then that's all the more better. But Grey are actually going to compound into, I wonder what lost pick they're going to be going for composition, as they've picked themselves up a Phoenix. And certainly their team fighting, Grey has actually banned, or rather banned out the Queen of Pain, right? So because they're pretty much expecting the Queen of Pain to be coming out over on the other side. I mean, it just fits overall well, but I don't think, I mean, to be fair, I don't think I don't think there's going to be any other mid laner apart from the Kunkka for Interactive Philippines. Meanwhile, for Grey, they don't seem convinced of this. They are going to be banning out that Storm Spirit, further disabling the mid hero pool available in this game. But I think the Kunkka is going to be the mid laner, or they might be actually thinking of sending down this Kunkka towards that bot lane with the Batrider. Certainly a lot of synergy there, but you know, we'll end up seeing exactly what will happen. All I know is that there are so many mid heroes banned, and if this is to be a mid, it's going to be a bit uncertain what that's going to be. Grey, meanwhile, going to go all in towards that mid game. I mean, they don't exactly have a late game lineup. They are the Abaddon I have seen the Abaddon really fall off past that 35-minute mark when you enter the late game and you are faced up with a hero like the Morphling, or in certain situations like the hero like the Medusa. There's not a lot that Abaddon can do. And for Interactive Philippines, they indeed, Grey did read them correctly, because Interactive Philippines have picked up a Void Spirit to send towards that mid lane. Meanwhile, they're going to be going for an off-lane Kunkka. Again, their draft is very well put together. I would have personally preferred a tankier hero on that off lane, sent down with that Undying. The Void Spirit has a lot of pressure. Now, sure, there's not a lot of disable. Grey's last pick did not help them out in terms of adding control and adding disables to their lineup, and they're still going to be reliant on that Tuskar. But at the end of the day, it's still a 4 Protect 1 lineup. Interactive Philippines have to get their farm up on Jed, and if they're able to do that, they're going to have a solid late game. But for Grey, they need to be shutting down this Morphling, and they also need to be doing something about this Void Spirit, as it is a pretty much snowball-oriented hero. Meanwhile, you need your Abaddon to farm up. It's going to be... his Radiance timing is going to be the key for Grey, because the amount of pressure that they should be able to amp up after that should just be too much for Interactive Philippines. But of course, if Interactive Philippines are able to survive through the 10 minutes of that high stakes pressure environment that they're going to be playing in, then perhaps Jed with his Morphling will be able to overtake Grey later on in some parts of the late game. But of course, those are a bunch of win conditions that both teams do have to fulfill if they want to win. And I believe the first show of whether or not, or rather who's going to be coming out ahead, is going to be by Grey, because their laning phase, they are reliant on having a good enough laning phase, because they're not going to be having a good enough time once that Batrider gets that Blink Dagger. So their laning phase, comprised of the Phoenix and the Tusk, should be pretty aggressive from the get-go, and should be able to get at least a few kills going about this. And if you're able to get a kill on the Morphling, I mean, that's just that's just going to be the cherry on top. But they should be taking some towers, at least a few tier 1 towers before the 10-minute mark. The Abaddon should play aggressive in his safe lane as well. You do have the Phoenix, and overall the mid lane, of course, it is between that Pangolier and the Void Spirit. So a bit of a classical matchup, but I don't really think either of those heroes are going to be taking any kind of beating, right? Both of these heroes should be able to just farm up to their heart's content, and what's going to be the breakthrough factor for both of these heroes over on the mid lane is who gets to rotate earlier and who gets to create space, right? Because both of these heroes, once you hit that 6-minute mark, once you do have those power runes, you should be looking to rotate, and in particular, once you get that first item up. Now, there are a few ways that you can go about it this game, but I do think that Pangolier will be investing in a Diffusal Blade because you want that additional control. You only have one stun, like we talked about. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Yona on the Phoenix, on the Void Spirit, can go for a Witchblade because control is something that they're not really lacking. So let's see. We are going to come to a bit of an unpause. It's both teams. No early smoke coming out from both of these sides, which is pretty surprising. Normally, I feel like for the past 30 or so games that I have casted, there has always been a smoke happening. I wonder if the Ancient Apparition will pop it for his team, whether or not they want to be going in to fight.
That was unreal.
Another unfortunate pause, but again, early game, the dire side should be taking it, right? Late game, it comes down to whether how farmed this Morphling actually is. Uh, I don't see how Team Grey will be able to, I will overtake Interactive Philippines should it go late. I really do think that their timing is within that 35-minute mark. They should be at those tier 3s. They should have a couple of Raxes at the very least. Otherwise, things can go wrong very quickly. Morphling is even a natural Lincoln Sphere builder, so even if you go for more control in through those items, it's not going to help you all that much. Meanwhile, the threat of the lasso just gets stronger as time goes on. Batrider, you know, items go a long way for that Batrider, irrespective of whichever position he is playing in. It seems like he is, I believe, he's a support in this game, of course. But at the same time, even a support Batrider is typically able to get a Blink Dagger in that 14 to 17 minute mark, which is good enough. Of course, Team Grey might actually be able to find Rekusu, who was found straggling in the woods there, just not really had no idea that he was going to get ambushed there. And it's Interactive Philippines, they should have played a bit more of a collective pre-bell phase, but didn't go for the smoke and were quite casual about the way that they went about those bounty runes. Of course, at the end of the day, they will be able to pick 2 bounty runes, but it's going to mean an early first blood going the way of the Pangolier, and that mid lane should, Team Grey now have the tools at their disposal, or at least the early resources to mean that this mid lane does go in favor of Wonder Boy. And Wonder Boy, just for those of you who may not know, there are, I believe, over on Team Grey, they do have 3 players from the Mongols, or at the very least, I believe they have 2 players playing from the Mongols. The Mongols, of course, were the runner-ups for the Asian Dragon series, which happened in February. We haven't exactly seen we haven't exactly seen the official organization in the past 2 seasons that I've been on, but it was, I believe, a team that had a lot of star power, but these guys weren't able to deliver the results that their skill level is supposed to deliver, right? Wonder Boy, we will witness just how good he is over on the Pangolier at this mid lane, and I do think that for Team Grey and for a lot of these players, their best is yet to come, and Wonder already in possession of a kill against Yona on the Avoid Spirit. Of course, I think both of these guys should be getting a bottle just to be able to regen up, and Wonder Boy is already able to lay down the harass on towards Yona, who's just down to about 50% HP. Wonder Boy is holding on to all of his mana as well, so he should be having a decent enough time. If you talk a bit about the other lanes though, it's going to be Sajiri and Batrider and Kunkka against the Abaddon, and Mango has a Dispel. He has the Aphotic Shield, so those napalms coming in from Sajiri aren't going to be doing as much as you would expect from a Batrider in the laning phase. This just goes even further for Team Grey, as the laning phase is going to be incredibly crucial for them. Of course, Mango, it's a bit double-edged, because you can bait out the shield and then you can switch targets to go on, for example, Jotun on the Ancient Apparition, right? And force Mango to use the shield on himself. That is a strategy that people employ, or like teams employ, to take down, or rather get ahead in the laning phase, but it's a bit difficult to execute. Certainly they do have the initiations for it. Meanwhile, bot side, Morphling and Undying, and I would have really hoped that a lane with the Undying should be doing much better, but this may not be a lane that Interactive Philippines should be doing very well in, but it seems like Grey are on the back foot in this over on this bot lane. Rekusu's able to zone the other heroes out. One of the better voice lines out there. Meanwhile, Sajiri able, or rather looking to find the creep skip there. I wonder if they're going to make some kind of initiation. Does throw out that flame break, but again, Mango does have the aphotic shield, so isn't going to be facing much threat over on this top side. Of course, Sajiri, he can at the very least dish out as much harass as he possibly can. And I believe he hasn't even gone for the Napalm facet. He actually went to for the Stoked facet. So he does get additional amounts of movement speed as well as spell amplification. But not the core build that we have seen a lot of Batriders go for, even on the support position. Boss side, Lotus going in favor of Interactive Philippines. And there's not a lot that Team Grey can do against Jed. Morphling should be having a really good time. One of the benefits of the Undying is just the amount of HP you have, just the amount of survivability, and it's very difficult for Phoenix and Tusk to actually zone Rekusu out without the threat of at least losing one hero's life, because you are going to be expecting Jed to come in with that waveform. And for Young God, you have to be careful not to use that dive as well. A lot of the spells over for Team Grey over on this bot lane really do seem like, oh, Jotun apparently found the kill on towards Wei, and Sajiri was nowhere to be found. Perhaps a bit of miscommunication from coming from between the players of Interactive Philippines, as there was a lack of coordination there. Meanwhile, mid lane, Yona actually taking quite a bit of flag, but will actually be able to counter-initiate onto her Tusk, because Rekusu will TP in, and Wonderboy does not have his Rolling Thunder, and really does need to find a way out. Does have the Swashbuckle at the end, so is going to be safe. It's actually Yona who needs to be a bit careful. He does want to be getting as many creeps as he can, but he is also a bit low here. Batrider, meanwhile, Sajiri does have that Firefly, so despite of Play Hard coming over on this top side, they won't be able to find a kill. It's a bit of space being bought out for Jed just to farm up, and 3 heroes for Team Grey over on this top side. Maybe a bit of a waste of resources, I would say, as ideally you want to be targeting Yona on that Void Spirit before he hits his level 6, because you know as soon as he does that, his ability to reposition, or rather your ability to control him, is going to go down significantly. But for Team Grey, they might have actually found themselves a nice consolation prize. It's going to be Sajiri who's going to get taken down just at the 6-minute mark, but Yona is actually going to go forward with those remnants. A tombstone is actually being placed down as well, and Yona may not be able to go for Wonderboy, but Interactive Philippines will find themselves 2 kills. Play Hard also ends up going down. Of course, the Pangolier Wonderboy was able to clean up the, or rather, pick up the power rune. It is going to be a shield rune. He grabbed that one on his way out. And nearing the 7-minute mark, I do wonder if there's going to be some kind of play for the opposing side's Wisdom rune, but looking at the minimap here, it doesn't really seem like that's going to be happening. What is going to be happening is Sajiri actually falling over on this top side again, but this time around it's actually Interactive Philippines who are underestimating the damage out from coming in from Mango, who's actually going to be diving inside of that tower but going to be hit by the torrent, and I'm not exactly sure what he was thinking there, because he did not have his shield, and diving the Undying and the Kunkka as a carry You know, sure, you can TP back into this lane, but it's a lot you're giving away to the Kunkka, to the opposing side's offlane. Meanwhile, you know, you are faced up against the pressure of a hard carry like the Morphling, so you want to be maximizing whatever you can in the laning phase. And I hate to say it, but mistakes in the laning phase hurt Team Grey a lot more than they hurt Interactive Philippines. But still, Grey were able to find their revenge, and actually Mango found retribution as he was the one who was able to take down the carry. So Interactive Philippines making a few mistakes of their own, or rather just unable, or rather weren't able to read the map in time. And is Grey going to apply pressure on this bot side tower? As it seems like Interactive Philippines, they want to apply pressure elsewhere. They are in the jungle of Team Grey, but I wonder if they'll be able to find anything. Their supports are not level 6, so there's not a lot they can do against Wonderboy. They can try to hold him just so that Yona may be able to clear him out, but Wonderboy holding on to his Rolling Thunder, and Interactive Philippines turns out without committing everything, or rather without committing the Kunkka, and without having the ultimates themselves over for that lasso, they can't actually take down a lot of these heroes that are tanky. Wonderboy. 4 and 5 right now. Approaching the 9-minute mark. It seems like Wonderboy is going to be going for that Diffusal Blade. Meanwhile, Void Spirit TPing boss side. He's eyeing towards that scepter, and Yona did have one strike forward, but decided not to pursue Young G here. But Wonderboy may actually want to go in on towards Rakusu. The Undying is a pretty soft target, particularly in that early game. As time goes on, he will get beefier and tankier and more difficult to take down, so you might as well take him down if you're not going to be making moves on some higher value targets. The Rolling Thunder, it doesn't exactly have that high of a cooldown, so you can essentially spam it out to get a few kills, or rather as many kills as you can in that early game. Meanwhile, Mango queuing himself Radiance as expected. The question is going to be when he'll actually be able to get that Radiance. Meanwhile, over on that mid side, it's Yona who's diving in between the 3 heroes to get a kill on towards Jotun, but he may have overextended a bit too far. He's stuck between 4 and just nowhere to go. He's going to end up losing his life, and a tip that's being thrown out by Jotun as he managed to successfully bait Interactive Philippines mid laner, and having positioned a lot of these heroes over on that mid side. Is this Ice Blast going to hit? Is Jed going to die here? Jotun was I'm glad we got that, because what a read. And of course it wouldn't have happened without this observer ward being placed down over here, but man, that goes a long way. But actually Interactive Philippines were able to take down Mango as well, so they have turned it into a 1-for-1, and perhaps they might even be able to find more, as the Snowball has only temporarily bought Playhard some time. He will inevitably end up losing his life, and that's going to be a 2-for-1. Of course, the only difference was that Team Grey managed to snipe the Morphling. Jotun managed to snipe Jed from across the map. Meanwhile, Interactive Philippines decided to go in for an engagement. Mango to TP himself towards that mid lane. They want to hold on towards all of their towers. Meanwhile, Team Grey have already taken down a tower towards that bot lane. And Young G is actually pretty close to his Shiva's Guard. Once he gets that, remember, it increases the magic damage amp that you're dealing, right? And Grey have a lot of magic damage. Meanwhile, I'll have to hold those thoughts as Wonderboy is going to go in with that Rolling Thunder onto her too, able to stun up everyone, but It's actually Grey who are very low. Playhard will be the first one to fall. Sajiri does have that lasso, so he just needs to get in range to grab Wonder Boy for his team to be able to take him down. Wonder Boy nowhere to go. He can swashbuckle forward and find himself a kill, but at the end of the day, Interactive Philippines, they have enough chase to take the mid laner down. It's Yona on a double kill. Interactive Philippines, they managed to make that team fight work. 9 and 8, and they should be able to dish out decent enough damage towards this tier 1 tower too.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, bot side, Rikusu, he's going to go for that TP out, is going to be able to find it. Young G just unable to do anything, and I have to say, this Young G is an expert on the Phoenix. This is one of his most played, I believe is one of his most played heroes. I could be wrong. Perhaps I'm confusing the Nick with someone else, but I do think that I've seen him play, or rather costed him play this Phoenix several times, and it's always been a treat. We can already see it because of the timing. He's able to farm up so quickly on this Phoenix. 82 CS in 13 minutes may not be that much, but he has a kill, has 2 assists and hasn't died once, so he should be able to get a Shivas as early as the 14-minute mark, and that's going to be huge. Meanwhile, I wonder what item he's actually going for. A Crimson Guard, so I do like this. A lot of teams go for the Radiance on the Kunkka after the Blade Mail, but Interactive Philippines, they're not lacking in damage, they're lacking in sustain. They want to be able to stay alive in those team fights, particularly because of some of these heroes, right? You do have that Morphling who loves an extended team fight because you have the ability to morph and adapt into strength and agility and vice versa. So, and then you have Rikusu who can come in with a second life by teleporting to a close objective, right? Because of his innate, and you also, because of the tombstone, the zombies that are just being generated across time, right? So extended team fights is something that Interactive Philippines are pretty good at, and the Crimson Guard goes a long way in securing that extended team fight. Of course, Young G, their lineup is looking potent, particularly how it all comes together with that Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, right? Team fights can get shortened pretty quickly with that Ice Blast, so it's at the end of the day how both of these teams will execute on these team fights that's going to be dictating who's successful. And in particular, if Young G are going to be able to be quick enough to actually take a few heroes from Interactive Philippines out before the fight even starts, that's going to be the big question in a lot of these engagements going into the mid game, or at least as Interactive Philippines, they eye that Dusk. Batrider Sajiri has that Blink Dagger, and the Snowball yet once again will just buy player hard some time. He will inevitably fall. Tombstone dropped down, so this means that Interactive Philippines may be pursuing to take down this tier 1 tower, but Grey are actually TPing in. They don't want this tower to actually fall. Wonder Boy prepping his ultimate. He's actually going to launch himself forward. The Ice Blot to hit Wii as well. The Ghost Ship is going to come out, but it's not going to be enough. We will end up dying. Meanwhile, the Void Spirit jumps in, but it's the backlines of Interactive Philippines that have taken a beating. Kunkka has fallen down, and Yona, who came in with the Astral Step, is actually stuck between 4. He's going to go forward, but in the end, Interactive Philippines are going to lose 2. Grey were able to successfully defend their tier 1 tower, come in with that counter initiation, force out the ultimates from Interactive Philippines, and they might even actually find more, as Rikusu went in for a very aggressive Observer Ward play, and he's just going to lose his life for nothing, and Grey should be able to find the tower, in contrast to Interactive Philippines' failed attempt. 10 and 12 right now, and you can really see why Wonder Boy did have a lot of success, even though it was limited with the Mongols. he has Blink Dagger already. 16 minutes and a full Diffusal Blade as well. Meanwhile, Yona does have that Aghanim Scepter, but he's fallen behind. In terms of net worth, the Void Spirit is sitting at about 7,500. Meanwhile, the Wonder Boy is leading that net worth chart at about 9,000 and is going to be getting his ultimate back online. So Grey may want to be going in for a defense again. There goes Wonder Boy with that Rolling Thunder and perhaps a 2-man Ice Blast. Unfortunately, didn't land, but for Interactive Philippines, it didn't matter. They simply lost 2 cores without being able to do anything, and it was a bit of a dubious decision because none of the other heroes from Interactive Philippines were even close. Batrider, the support, is towards that top side. Meanwhile, Undying was, I believe, planting down some vision for his team. Of course, Jed was farming away, but that was not the ideal engagement. Perhaps Interactive Philippines underestimated the cooldowns coming back online. Perhaps they just simply misread that approach, but you can't be making too many of these mistakes, as Grey do have a very snowball heavy lineup, and you can't give them this much room or this much leeway, as every single time they get some of these skills, their ability to transition into objectives is a lot stronger because they don't have a carry that's necessarily farming at the opposite side, right? The Abaddon can join his team whenever he wants, as he does have that Radiance up and online. So it was, I believe, after that 15 to 16 minute mark. Meanwhile, Wonder Boy on that cliff. Young G also going to dive forward. Can they find the Morphling? But we is there with that Ghost Ship. A 2-man stun on towards Grey with a snowball. They want to go in further. Sink their teeth in, as Jed nowhere to go in between of 5 heroes. The TPs are not going to be enough. Play Hard will find that kill. And Interactive Philippines, they just lost their carry and they didn't even try for a counter initiation.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Oh man, this is not ideal. There's no defense that Interactive Philippines are putting in, but it seems like they want to be going in for the offensive. The lasso, though, it was countered out immediately. Sajiri, a cheeky attempt there that didn't end up paying off, as Grey were well prepared for that one. Rikusu may be able to run away, but no, he got caught out by Wonder Boy. Actually will find the TP out. Nicely juked by him, but at the end of the day, if you're losing your carry because you want to be going for other plays, you need to make those plays work. And just the fact that you're losing your farming heroes and you're also unable to get those pickoffs that you want with your Batrider, it's not a good look. It's Grey. They're just going to continue doing more of this. They're just going to continue bullying Interactive Philippines. They have no reason to stop. Of course, a 20-minute mark will give them one reason to stop. That is going to be that Tormentor that they're going to clear down. Jotun will be the one to pick that shard up. Not exactly the biggest of boons, but in the end, you know, when the next Tormentor does come online, when you are able to get that, perhaps you get the shard up for the Tusk or the Phoenix heroes that I would say the shard is much better on. Sajiri, he's going for the 21-minute Wisdom Rune, but actually he doesn't know that the attempt is on towards Jed. Once again, 4 heroes from Team Grey are able to collapse upon the carry from Interactive Philippines, and there's no response in sight.
Structures are fortified.
They're just simply falling like flies across the map. The only heroes that tend to extend themselves past the river are the ones with some amount of survivability, like the Void Spirit. But Interactive Philippines choosing to play so dispersed is... I'm not sure if this is going to work out for them the way that they're hoping it will. Sajiri needs to find some initiations for his team. I mean, Grey are going for as many of these objectives as they can. They took the Tormentor at the 20-minute mark, and now 22 minutes in, they're going to be heading towards Roshan. Sajiri is here for some kind of cheeky little play should he go for it, but it's going to be very difficult. Now, Interactive Philippines, they are bringing the rest of their lineup in. There's an Arcane Rune as well, an X-Mark to start it off, but it's an initiation on towards that Phoenix. Wonder Boy, though, was able to find that Batrider, and Young G still alive. He has that egg, and Yona is going to end up falling too. Interactive Philippines, suddenly, what was a maneuver that was supposed to be their big break in this game turned out to be a nightmare as they're forced to tuck tails and run, giving Grey a free Aegis. Oh man.
Oh boy.
6,000 of a net worth lead. Play hard, actually. Going to end up getting a kill himself on towards the Undying, and it's not, I mean, 7,000 of a net worth lead 23 minutes in is a bit of a disaster. Of course, their win condition has not changed. No matter how many times their team takes a pounding, at the end of the day, it's still going to be all eyes on Jed. And if you're able to come out 35 minutes and over with an intact lane, or rather an intact lanes of racks over all three sides, and Jed being farmed up, that's going to be perhaps the way that you come back into this game. At the end of the day, Jed does have two items, does have the Vladimirs and does have the Manta style, so it's not as if this is an under-farmed or a heavily shut down Morphling. Meanwhile, we forced to expend his BKB and TP out, but I believe Interactive Philippines will be able to apply quite a bit of pressure towards this tier 2 tower. So the aggression coming out from Team Grey over on the top side is either going to be a trade, or actually it might end up just being a kill. Rikusu time and time again caught behind the tower, and I do think that in the end, Interactive Philippines, they're going to be going for a potential trade. I say that, but they actually left that tier 2 tower attempt. It is very low, and it appears that Grey are also taking their sweet time with this. Rolling Thunder, though, it seems like a fight is going to be forced here. We, though, was able to activate his ghost ship at the right time this time around. Meanwhile, Jotun, Yona over on that backline will be able to finish off the supports from Team Grey, as the rest of Team Grey, they're struggling to retreat here. It's only going to be 2 kills for now, but they've actually been able to find that Undying once again. It's still just supports. Yona going to go forward with an Astral Step, and Mango, he's incredibly low with no ultimate available. He does have that Aegis, so I think this will be 50-50 between both of these sides. I do think that Interactive Philippines were able to play a lot bolder, because Jed does have some amount of farm now. They do have Yona, who has a bit of survivability. He does have that Daedum and is going to be picking himself up that Manta style, so will be safe from any kind of debuffs, of course. Wonder Boy going to go for that Aghanim Scepter. Does have it as well.
Dire's top tower is under
Grey, what's going to be their next move? They are in possession of the Aegis, so you know the ball is in their court. Getting stragglers like Sajiri, who is going to end up dying, is nice and all, but you want to be pushing objectives. You are playing against the clock here, And we're 27 minutes in. Remember, 35 and over, Interactive Philippines are going to have a decent time in these team fights. So for Gray, you want as many of these towers as you can get. And the Aegis is simply that buffer time in which Interactive Philippines are going to have to make very difficult decisions if they want to be forcing a fight. And it's not going to be worth it for them against the Aegis. But with only 30 seconds left for Team Grey to have possession of that Aegis, I'm not too sure if they can go high ground over here. I think they have to kind of go back.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Even the Kunkka is pretty farmed, and just 400 gold away from that Assault Cuirass.
Deadly swift.
Oh? It's actually the Pangolier who got sniped across the map, and Jet was actually able to get that kill. So that's about 1,000 gold going in favor of Interactive Philippines. He has a whole Hurricane Pike.
Dire's bottom tower.
I say the 35-minute mark as a benchmark for when the scales are going to start tipping over in favor of Interactive Philippines, but Jed is by no means weak right now. He has 3 whole items, has 3,000 gold, so he's going to be picking himself up an Eagle Song and should be getting his Butterfly in the next few minutes, and that's going to be a scary Morphling. His TP was cancelled by the Ancients. Meanwhile, he's chasing Mango here, but the Abaddon has a Blink Dagger. I want to see what kind of items he has. Apart from that, it is the Manta Radiance, pretty standard, and is going to be going for, I believe, an Eye of Skadi, because he has queued himself up 2 Ultimate Orbs. But again, you can make that Skadi, but the Abaddon is simply not good enough to be contesting against the Morphling. Yona, yeah, that got scary there, but it seems like he had that one under control. You do have a gem on the Void Spirit as well. So at least as far as information goes, Interactive Philippines can make an attempt to securing that information game and perhaps buy even more time for Jed through that.
To restore the void within.
Regeneration rune popped, and Grey no longer have that Aegis. It did time out on Mango, so if IAP want to fight, this is the time. Or perhaps because you know, oh, actually no, Grey's found their opening on towards Yona, who does happen to have the Astral Step away, but the question is, are Grey going to allow Yona to get away? Turns out it's not going to be possible for the Void Spirit. He is going to end up falling, and now Grey have actually found their way on towards this high ground should they want it, but they have to mount up, they have to stack up and mount up a push, an offensive very quickly, as the Void Spirit is going to be back up in about 40 seconds. IAP also possess that glyph, and Grey have to get through a tier 2 tower. So at the maximum, it's just going to be a tower death at the end of the day. So it's not the biggest loss for IAP. As long as they don't lose their Morphling, then things are going to be good. Of course, as I say that, Jed's actually going to be spotted out by a lot of these heroes. The Ice Blast is going to be thrown out. The Morphling, though, does have that Hurricane Pike holding it for now. He was forced out by Rikusu, who is holding his ground, but it's a 5v2. What can IAP possibly manage over here? Morphling's just going to go for that TP out, abandoning that Undying, but it was a decision that he desperately needed to make, and at least was able to live, even if it was at the edge of his life. Oh man, that was that got very hairy very quickly for Interactive Philippines. B03. Oh, Rolling Thunder is Ice Blast not going to hit him, but it's not even going to matter. Play Hard will be able to find that kill, and this has been the theme for this entire game, is that Grey are so good at grouping up and going for those fights, and Interactive Philippines a lot of the times are just simply caught off guard. They're simply just caught in the jungle and unable to respond. And Grey do this at superb timings, able to take Wee down and immediately transition that towards Roshan is a very well executed game. And I have to say, with this Aegis, perhaps they're going to go towards that high ground. Certainly now is the time. 33 minutes in, Morphling completed the butterfly, and things are not going to be easy even with the Aegis. Perhaps that should make things a bit easier. Sajiri to end up falling. He's died quite a bit of times over on his side, but still, he needs to be playing aggressive, and at the very least, he does have some amount of farm, does have that Aghanim Scepter, so he can be grabbing two heroes at the same time. By no means weak right now. He had...
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Mango on that tower. Should be able to take that tower down.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Grey so far choosing to play a bit passive, but Interactive Philippines, it seems like they've had enough. They're going to be going for a 5-man smoke, as they want to be bringing in their Morphling in their lineup and perhaps get some kills. As I say that, Jed's actually broken his smoke and is now thinking where he wants to be going. Mid lane, of course, was pushing in, so he's going to be able to clean up those creeps and continue farming up. It's about 100 gold away from the dagger he has queued up for himself, so I wonder if he'll be going for that. But Yona unfortunately went for the Astro Step, and Grey were waiting for him, the tombstone to be dropped, but the Rolling Thunder, he's stunned up for now, force-stopped on the high ground, but Wonder Boy is able to spot out Rikusu, and Grey are in the perfect position to take down this tombstone and potentially extend this team fight as Young G dives forward. But Interactive Philippines, they've already managed to disengage from this fight. Jed wasn't there, and they don't want to have any part of this. Undying may be able to find the TP out, does manage to do it. Sajiri should be able to find it too. Yeah, he's gone. He's out of there. Oh, over on that side though, Mango, he might actually be forced to face up against the Morphling, but it's actually Play Hard who's going to be in trouble. Jed finds himself an easy kill, and with Mango over here and Jed holding that dagger, he can actually chase until the ends of the earth. Mango, how far can he possibly end up going here? We was able to find a kill on towards Jotun, and sure, the flame break didn't hit, but Interactive Philippines have more than enough catch to go for this. Mango's very far out of his base, but it seems like Interactive Philippines, the river is where they are going to draw the line and not going to chase further from where they were.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And on towards the tier 2s, Interactive Philippines go.
Dire's structures are fortified.
For Grey, the question is, are you going to be defending a tower that's on its last pillars? And they're going to actually activate the Rolling Thunder. They see Sajiri, so they actually want this skill really badly. They're actually going to throw down quite a few ultimates for this one. The Ice Blast to go down too, but Sajiri was able to find a TP out. He just simply blinked himself back, and that's a wasted rotation, wasted attempt at... The biggest downside of that, of course, is that Rolling Thunder, but Wonder Boy will be able to get it in about 50 seconds, so it's not the biggest loss. Does have a nullifier as well, so while they do have enough damage to actually take down the Morphling, the difficult part is actually finding that Morphling, or rather isolating that Morphling in a position where he has limited support.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So far, Grey have been able to do that with the rest of Interactive Philippines. Not so much with Jed. Jed may have 4 deaths, but a lot of those deaths occurred towards the earlier parts of the game. And as we near the 40-minute mark, Sajiri is going to end up taking a fall. But once again, it's just a support. And keep in mind, Mango's age is just expired. So, Interactive Philippines, even though they're losing their heroes like this, they're buying a lot of time. As suddenly, this is from what was going to be a 5v6 scenario, is might just end up being a 4v5. Yona, though, in so much trouble, he was set up in the air, and it's just going to end up falling without being able to morph up. Or without Interactive Philippines being able to do anything. We has activated his BKB. Yona wants to be going in for that Astro Step, but unfortunately wasn't able to find it. The egg is going to come down as the buyback from Interactive Philippines means that Grey have to disengage. But they got what they came for. They got the kills there, and it seems like they want to find, or rather punish Grey for this. On towards Mango they go, but they don't have enough follow-up. Meanwhile, Grey are actually going to go in for a counter initiation. A lasso on towards 2 though from Sajiri is going to prevent that, and perhaps Grey might end up taking a fall here as Ziona dives forward. 4 heroes from Grey are incredibly low right now. Can the jukes happen as Jet goes in, finds the Phoenix, finds Play Hard 2 on a double kill right now. Grey have nowhere to go, only 2 heroes alive, and at the rest of Interactive Philippines, they can continue to chase as there's a fully farmed Morphling over here. Will be able to take down Mango for a triple kill. Pango was the only one who made it out of that alive. A triple kill from Jed makes that buyback worth it, but the question is, can they capitalize? Can they, what kind of objectives of their own are they going to be able to get for themselves at the back of this? The answer is unfortunately going to be not many, as the buybacks are available for Grey, and it doesn't even seem like Interactive Philippines are looking for a push. They do have 2 heroes that are down, but you do have that Morphling, so perhaps you could have gone for at least a threat of that high ground, as Grey didn't exactly have the glyph available. On pause.
Dire are scanning.
19 and 32. And I will say this, Interactive Philippines, they've done a great job at bringing the lead back. I remember around that 28-minute mark, it was a 7,000 net worth lead in favor of Grey, but again, you know, we were predicting this for a while. Interactive Philippines, they have a Morphling at the end of the day, and 40 minutes in, that Morphling is able to do a whole lot of damage, and Grey are just unable to cope up with that. Outside of being able to burst Jet down, which they have been very good at, that is the one way in which they're going to be able to keep themselves in this game, and it's going to be a lot easier on the high ground, but at the same time, you know, it's going to be a lot easier for Interactive Philippines to be going in for a lasso on that high ground too. So it's a double-edged sword, and it turns out it turns out that Grey are actually going to take the riskier end of that stick, going to go for a fight by a wraparound outside of their base. The Phoenix, Young G going to dive forward. They want to actually take down the Bat Rider. Surgery is going to fall incredibly quickly. The egg is going to come out too. And Interactive Philippines, they don't actually have a way to take down that egg. 2 heroes from IAP to fall over here. Jed is trying to make it out, but is going to be sent up in the air by the Tusk. Remember, no buyback on Jed means that if he falls over here, then it might just end up being GG. The Nullifier, he's going to end up dying down now by about 120 seconds. It's a Mango on a triple kill, and IAP, yet once again, somehow, despite of the fact that they were 5 dispersed when the heat was risen. I mean, Morphling just... he was left all alone there by the rest of his team, and I'm not sure what the game strat or what the plan was for IAP. Oh man, and now even Yona ended up falling. He does have buyback, but having to go for a buyback on your Void Spirit, meanwhile Jed doesn't have one, your Morphling is down, so that's going to be a difficult one. I hear a lasso though. It's over on that bot lane, and if they're able to kill Wonder Boy, but actually Grey have different plans as Playhard comes in with the save. There are 2 heroes from Interactive Philippines not being able to assist with this, and that means we, the 3rd core, will fall. Sajiri, the support, to die too, and Undying. There is no way a position 5 can defend against 5 heroes from Grey. Rekusu too will inevitably fall. That's going to be a full team wipe across 2 minutes, as Grey are making this look so casual, and Interactive Philippines, I'm not sure why they're not bringing in any kind of response, despite of the fact that their tier 4s are being threatened. I think they want to wait for the response over on that Void Spirit, but they're losing their tier 4s. The second one is going to end up falling too. Grey have the opportunity to be going all in, to be taking down this throne, but a buyback from Sajiri might mean that they can fight back, but unfortunately Sajiri died as quickly as he came back, and Wonder Boy is going to lose his second life too. This time he does not have buyback, and Jed and Undying are the only 2 heroes alive. Morphling is going to go forward, but what can he actually do as the rest of Grey are actually taking down that throne, and the first game is going to be taken by Grey against Interactive Philippines. Oh man, what a game there by Interactive Philippines. And of course, that was just the first game. We are going to come back to game number 2. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back as quickly as possible, potentially after just a 5 minutes break at the most.
Crowded places, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces, say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. But I will guide you home. But I will guide you home. something I've done so many times. Trying to keep my head high while everybody's dancing. 'Cause I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Since you took hold of my broken heart, just like a miracle. You're the angel, the one I've been waiting for. You're the angel, the one that pulled me out of the dark. You're the angel. You're the angel. Letting go of the past, I can never understand. So many questions why.
What a game there by Interactive Philippines.
Dancing, 'cause I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Since you took hold of my broken heart, just like a miracle. You're the angel, the one I've been waiting for, waiting for. You're the angel, the one that pulled me out of the dark. Oh, oh, I've been waiting for, waiting for. Oh, oh, the one that pulled me out of the dark. You're the angel. You're the angel. And I lost myself again. You hit just like a drug. This time I won't let you in. You're playing with fire. No, I didn't I'm the prey. But this time I won't collide like I did yesterday. Yesterday, you broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give in, I can't give in, I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. With your breath and your bad for me. I can't give in, I can't give in. I've already run with the world. Far from the light of the day. I can't go back to you. I'm stronger than that. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot far away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm stronger today. I'm stronger today. Tú tienes la pócima para enloquecerme, pero voy a draw the line. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay away, got to stay away. Sé que como un trofeo quieres tenerme, pero I don't need no one. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay away, got to stay away. No, 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 baby, no, 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 no setbacks. No, 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 baby, no, 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 this time. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give in, I can't give in, I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. With your breath and your bad for me. I can't give in, I can't give in. I've already run with the never thought I'd feel like this. I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, I never thought I'd feel like this. I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like, feel like this. Feel like, feel like. They remind me that this life cannot be lost forever. I watch my generation. It's so evident this world will soon be gone. Will soon be gone. Can we live for tonight? Run away. Let's run away, run away. Can we get out of sight? Fly away. Let's run away, run away. Let's run away, run constellations. They remind me that this life cannot be lost forever. I watch my generation. It's so evident.
Welcome back, guys, to the EPL World Series Southeast Asia season number 6. This is the second best of 3 of the day. Previously, Team Ivory did take their best of 3 against Yangon Galacticos in a 2-on-1 fashion, and Grey are looking to be going for an 2-0 against Interactive Philippines, because even though they were faced up against a Morphling and Interactive Philippines were able to take it to the late game, Grey were still able to isolate Jed time and time again, and were able to isolate some of the other cores from Interactive Philippines, and we're just able to play an overall very clean and well executed game, even if we talk about the objectives or recognizing when to go towards that Roshan, when to go towards that high ground. For Interactive Philippines, though, it was a bit of an issue regarding their overall chemistry throughout the mid game, throughout the late game. It didn't seem like they were ready to back up Jed when their carry really needed them, and also a lot of the support heroes were just nowhere to be found for those pickoffs, right? We did see some attempts at pickoffs being made, but not decisive ones, and Interactive Philippines really should look to get their act together, particularly because they have picked themselves up a Doom, a hero that is designed around pickoffs, right? You want your level 6 up, and then you want to be going in for some kills. Of course, they're going to be going for that Ancient Apparition once again, or rather, I actually think, if I remember correctly, it was Grey who went for that Ancient Apparition. And it's actually Grey who are going to be picking up a Kunkka for themselves. It was IAP who had that pick last time around. Perhaps Grey are looking to show IAP how it's done. Of course, the Morphling ban, not surprising at all. Interactive Philippines did have a good Morphling game, but it kind of fell through in a lot of places. Let's see what Grey will be going for as far as their second pick goes. Going to be a Nature's Prophet, so a hero that does very well against the Ancient Apparition, particularly because you typically know where the Ice Blast is coming from, and a lot of players can recognize the distance from where an Ancient Apparition is standing based on the AoE of that Ice Blast, right? So perhaps we might see this Nature's Prophet being able to snipe that Ancient Apparition down, or perhaps the Interactive Philippines will be able to get on top of Grey with that Doom, and because they have a high DPS hero like that Templar Assassin, Grey might be having a difficult time. I do think the Templar Assassin just simply cuts through that Nature's Prophet and even has enough damage output to be taking down that Kunkka, but once again, for Grey, you do have that Torrent that can deal with that refraction, but not much else. The Lion with those disables will come in handy, but you need something to melt through the refraction charges, some DPS, and it seems like they're not going to go for that. They're actually going to go for a Medusa. So at the end, it's going to be a Medusa versus a Templar game, and of course, you know, for Grey, picking up a carry that is not bothered by the Doom, right? The Medusa just simply does not utilize HP regeneration and is one of the better carries in the game for that, but at the same time, I mean, at the end of the day, you just even if you're removing yourself as a target, it's not as if there aren't a lot of viable Doom targets in the game, right? Kunkka in particular, just if you're able to use the Doom on the Kunkka before he can get off his ghost ship, then that's going to be a very big advantage going into those team fights. Meanwhile, for Interactive Philippines, you do have that Morta as well, and I'm more interested in knowing whether or not this Morta is going to be going for something like the Diffusal Blade against the Medusa. Again, not exactly an item that we're used to seeing from Morta on that support position, but again, it's also a hero that isn't played all that much in the support meta anymore either, at least compared to the times when Morta was just picked left, right, and center. I believe in perhaps in PGL Wallachia season number 4, right, earlier this year. But we have advanced on the meta quite a bit. We are a few patch letters down, and we will see how this Mortar does. Now, I will talk about a very unique mechanism that is the fear coming in from that dead shot. It's actually, if the Medusa uses a Stone Gaze and your Mortar is able to divert the Medusa's pathing, then perhaps Mortar can save his own team from being hit by that Stone Gaze. But that's such a niche mechanism that we may or may not even get to see. Of course, it is that last pick for Grey. I believe they're looking for their mid laner once again, as they might not be sending this Kunkka down towards the mid lane like last time. It might be an offlane Kunkka, but it might also be a mid lane Kunkka, in all honesty. But still, for Grey, you have the option of picking yourself up a Viper and just sending the Viper down towards that offlane. You have the Medusa for that late game and the Kunkka for that mid game, coupled up with the Nature's Prophet, right? But I think that would require the Nature's Prophet to be a support. Perhaps the Grey are thinking they want this to be a core Nature's Prophet, but a lot of options for them. I just hope their last pick doesn't box them in. Right now, they need something to take down the refraction charges, and they need something to provide them with a bit of control in those team fights.
Radiant team pick.
Seems like the moment has come, and they're actually going to go for an offlaner. So it is going to be that Kunkka on that mid lane, a support Nature's Prophet, and a Medusa on that carry position. At least that's what I hope. I hope it's not going to be a support Medusa or an offlane Medusa.
10 seconds remaining.
Meanwhile, for Interactive Philippines, what are they going to be going for? They are missing on their mid laner, so not a lot of mid lane heroes that actually do well against the Medusa, to be honest. The Pangolier is also banned out, a hero that ideally would have gotten a Diffusal Blade. Anti-Mage is no longer there. We're probably never seeing the Phantom Lancer this for quite some time. But let's see what they go for. At this point, perhaps you might go for something with an additional catch. Like something like the Storm Spirit would be good at dealing with the Nature's Prophet. You can't pick yourself a Puck. You can't pick yourself an Ember Spirit. So Death Prophet is also banned out. So a Storm Spirit may be good. Other than that, I don't actually see a lot of mid lane heroes still left in the pool. Unless you want to be going for something like the Shadow Fiend or the Timbersaw, or maybe even the Viper over on the mid lane for yourself. Those are some heroes, or to be honest, I'm a bit lost for words, right? Lost for suggestions right now. And it's actually going to be the Ursa for Interactive Philippines, so I completely misread that. They're going to be sending this Templar Assassin down towards the mid lane in what is a very unconventional position as far as the current meta goes. And I'm not too sure how it's going to work out either, considering the fact that you have such aggressive supports over on the other side. Play hard on that Lion and Jotun on that Nature's Prophet. And Wonder Boy, who's going to be faced up against Yona. Sure, the Kunkka isn't going to be having the best time because your Tidebringer is not going to be affecting the Templar Assassin. But still, at the end of the day, the rotations coming in from Grey could prove to be pretty tricky for Yona to play against. Of course, it is going to be Rakusu and Sajiri on those supports, and I wonder what Jed is going to be able to accomplish on that Ursa. Again, I have seen his Ursa performances. A lot of the times he is able to get the job done, is able to recognize what he needs and what he wants to be doing. We'll see if it works out this game though, because you have a Medusa on the other side, and for Jed, he may be wondering whether he wants to be going for the conventional Battle Fury or he wants to be going in for that Diffusal Blade. Both of them would be pretty decent items, to be honest. I would personally still go for the Battle Fury, but in the end, it's going to be a difficult situation. It's going to be difficult to call.
Prepare for battle.
That was unreal.
His brain is so big.
That was unreal.
Early smoke coming out in contrast to the previous game. But I don't think that either side are going to be caught out this time around. I think both of these teams are going to be playing pretty careful. Yona dishing out some early harass in the form of his chat, and it seems like Sajiri may end up falling. The Impale does end up landing, so does the Hoofstorm. There's plenty of CC present here for Grey to find that first blood, and it's going to be on Mango, the Medusa, actually.
30 seconds.
It is an advantage, don't get me wrong, but I would have preferred some other hero picking up that first blood, perhaps even that mid laner. Kunkka is not expected to do all that well, so if the first blood would have gone a long way. He could have gotten himself a bracer.
The battle begins.
So with Grey already having the first blood here, and not too sure how it's going to translate into any kind of advantage. Medusa is a pretty passive hero for most of the game, at least up until the late game where he can be joining his team. But this first blood isn't going to give him the necessary edge that they need. They still want to be getting something out of this of this laning phase. They still want to be able to survive in one piece and perhaps get a few kills with their Centaur over on that bot side. Meanwhile, Jotun, he needs to be careful here. Sajiri does have that dead shot, and Jotun can end up falling if he isn't all that careful. Meanwhile, actually, it's going to be the Centaur and Grey are going to be getting the start that they do want. It's going to be Young G who picks up that kill on that Ursa, and Interactive Philippines. This is a lane where they are going to struggle, but there are potentials of some kind of counterplay. It has to come at the back of Rikusu having a great position, because Jed is going to be the one who's going to get gone on time and time again. Topside Interactive Philippines, they're actually going to lose their offlaner too, and all it cost them was Jotun's life. And for Grey here, this is very well worth it, because you're getting all sorts of kills. Your carry is stacking up. He already has access to about 1 kill and 1 assist. And sure, he doesn't exactly have the last hits, but those will probably come for him. Surprising that the top lane is seeing that many casualties. I would expect both teams to be playing a lot more passive, and not a lot of attempts being made on that Medusa, at least up until the mid lanes can farm up. But Jed, he sees his spray over here. One more swipe should be able to do the trick, but Rikusu is actually going to grab that kill before Jed can, as Jotun has brought himself down towards that bot side, but there's not a lot of action to be had. He is a bit too late to the party, and I believe Jed's animation has gone a bit freaky. Rikusu does need to be careful. Now, sure, Grey are going to be eyeing this Ursa down, but in an awkward spot. There's not going to be a lot of tools that Rikusu have, or even if Interactive Philippines have, to be breaking even in this lane, should the positional advantage go the other way. Meanwhile, top side, Unfortunately, the Scorched Earth is a really good ability to zone heroes out, not so much against the Medusa. Because even if you're able to run down the Medusa, you're going to be faced with a Sprout that's going to create a bit of distance, and then there's so much mana that Medusa has that he can make it safely back to his tier 1 tower, and it's going to be very risky to go on that Medusa. But it seems like Interactive Philippines, they want to be doing just that, but it's actually going to be Jotun who finds the kill onto her Sagittary. As once again, Grey finding themselves a very convincing early start. Four minutes in. Power runes going to be spawning in about 2 minutes. Meanwhile, Young G is actually going to end up falling towards that bot lane. This time around, Jed was able to find that kill, so Grey won't be having 3 free lanes. Play Hard, of course, will be able to deal some damage on towards Rikusu, but it's not going to be enough. And Centaur is going to respawn and come back. But still, you don't want to be giving too much away to this Ursa, who is going to be coming online much faster than your Medusa will. Of course, the first item, like I mentioned, is going to be the key. I would personally think a Diffusal isn't all that bad in this game, considering he does need to burn through that mana. But the Battle Fury, compared to the flash farming ability that the Medusa brings to the table, you might want to have some kind of flash farming ability yourself, and the only way to get that is through that Battle Fury. Jed though, being stunned up, there is the hoof stomp as well. The double edge is going to be enough as a few more swipes, but actually Jed had the one there, and even though Jotun Sprout came about, it seems like Jed's going to be able to walk this one away and teleport back to base. Grey were getting a bit too ambitious with their Lion also being just too low for that exchange, and I guess they overestimated the amount of damage, or perhaps they didn't even see the wand come out there. But they need to be making more calculated plays. I mean, they had that early start. They were able to get 2 kills on towards that Ursa, on towards that Doom 2. But they need to translate this into more success, as they'll be able to find at least 2 kills over on that top side. It's Sagittary and Doom to fall. Six-minute power rune to come about. Lion is there to get Wonder Boy his power rune, but it's not even going to spawn towards that top side. It's going to be Yona who gets that haste rune.
Dire are scanning.
Jed, the dead shot from Sagittary was spotted him out. Young G just has nowhere to go. He's going to get frozen, and Jed's just going to swipe him down, and fell as well over on the other side of the map too. Both the offlaners in this game falling, and similar amounts of aggression coming out. Of course, Young G are making a play towards that top side Wisdom Shrine, and the question is Interactive Philippines going to go for a steal of their own, and are they going to be able to push Grey out of this triangle area? There is a TP towards that bot lane as well as Centaur. He's going to go try and defend his Shrine of Wisdom. Meanwhile, over on that top side, it's Play Hard, who actually might end up losing his life, as Yona is here with a haste rune. So at the end of the day, they weren't able to do much here. Not sure who grabbed the Shrine over on Grey's side. It does seem like the Shrine of Wisdom went in favor of Interactive Philippines, but they should not have given that Lion kill to the Templar. Yona, let's see what items he's cooking up for himself. Is going to be the early Blink Dagger, the way to go about it on that mid Templar. But Wonder Boy, he has play hard here as well, and with a Torrent and a Ghost Ship on towards the Templar, but Yona's shield refraction actually absorbed all of that, and he's going to be able to get the kill on towards Jotun there as Sagittary came in from the side, and Grey really did not stack up their abilities all that well. They should have waited for that refraction to wear off, but they weren't able to. But at least they'll be able to find themselves Wii, who's fallen for the 4th time right now. This Doom is really not having a great game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
As Young G, I mean, he's faced up against an Ursa. Sure, he has taken a few deaths as well, but he still has at least 1 kill and 1 assist, and he has a much more difficult lane against the Ursa warrior, who I think is going for the Battle Fury, so not going to have that disfusal, so not going to have that slice through mechanism against the Medusa. Perhaps he'll get it later on, but still, the pathway has been set. He has chosen the the path more frequently walked on, I would say. The safer option. Young G has a Stampede. There's the Impale, the Hoof Stomp, but the TPs are coming in, and Jed may very well turn it around on towards Young G. Grey recognized that threat, and they are going to be backing off. You have Jotun who's teleported himself, but Rikusu is here too. Oh, Hoof Stomp not really landing on him, and perhaps this is going to be the opening that Jed was looking for, just wanting to force out that Stampede. But Wonder Boy is here with that X mark, and they're going to go for that Torrent. Where's that Ghost Ship though? It's actually on cooldown, so he doesn't actually have it. Jed, meanwhile, he's kind of stuck here between 5 heroes. Oh no. Oh no, Jed, this is not where you were hoping to go. This is surely not where this is surely not the path most taken by people towards that top side though. Mango actually surprisingly out of position, and Jotun should be falling here too. We is going to find a bit of retribution, clearing his name from what was looking to be a disastrous offlane for him. He's now gotten a double kill, and this should go a long way into securing his Midas. In fact, he's able to bring out an entire Midas at the back of those 2 kills. It was, I think, around 700 gold going in his favor. Meanwhile, Wonder Boy
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Let's see. I think Interactive Philippines, despite how much they want to, and some part of it is also them needing to shut down the Medusa, they have no choice but to play a static game, at least up until Jed's able to farm. Meanwhile, you do have Yona with that Blink Dagger, so that does give them a little bit of initiation capability should they go for pickoffs, but it's always going to be pretty risky, right? With that Stampede counter initiation and the threat of that Nature's Prophet that can come in at any time, you want to be making sure that if you're going for a pickoff, you're making it as clean and as quick as possible. But that's a difficult requirement to achieve. Yona, is he actually going to blink forward for this? Unfortunately, Wonder Boy used the X mark on himself and did not have it against that Templar to do much here. Wonder Boy has, I believe, a Blade Mail, and he's going to go for that typical Radiance route. I wonder if this will work out. You do have a Medusa. Mango almost has that Monta style, so his farming ability should amp up. And Interactive Philippines were hoping to find the Gorgon, hunting the trees there, but just weren't able to. At least they'll be able to transition this to a tier 1 tower at the very least, or if nothing else. Meanwhile, seems like Jed, he's sticking around towards his bot side, but they don't actually have a lot of support available for him. Morta is coming in from the side. The Ice Blast is coming in too. It did hit Young G, but not for any kind of burst damage. But now, Grey, they're actually eyeing that Ursa right now. The X-Mark, the Torrent to send him up in the air. He's hexed up. There is no Finger of Death, but the Doom coming in from Wee over on that side, and Yona blinking forward means that Grey might be the ones in trouble. Interactive Philippines, can they find the way to chase over here, as Grey have done a great job at disengaging? Meanwhile, it's towards that other outpost where Jotun will end up losing his life. Yona, meanwhile, has given up on that chase, and both teams are going to call it. At the end of the day, it's only going to be a support kill, even though both sides used all of their ultimates.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire are scanning.
That's quite a lot of creeps going the way of Wonder Boy. I think Grey are going to make an attempt towards this tier 1 tower, but the question is, Interactive Philippines are hell-bent on defending this. Is there going to be any more defense, as this time around is just Sajiri, and is this a hero that you really want to be trying to save with your resources? Turns out he won't even need it. Sajiri will just be able to use a dead shot and just fall back. Meanwhile, Grey should look towards taking down this tower. Of course, Interactive Philippines are the ones who are up on, or rather, the game is even on the objective chart. It's Grey who were able to take down the mid-side tower. So, if this tower falls, it's actually going to go in advantage of the Dire side. Of course, Interactive Philippines, they are looking at the end of the day to turn this into a trade. Yona, should he get enough time here, they should be able to take down the tier 1 tower of their own, and the game should be objectively, or rather, as far as the objectives go, the game should be even, but
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
15 minutes now. And both sides, I mean, they're farming. Jed almost has a full Battle Fury up. IAP. They want to be going in on towards Mango. Sajiri is rotating towards the back. Wee has expended his Doom. So that means they need to burn this mana down, and they need to do it quickly. There is no help coming for the Medusa. He's actually going to try and go for the TP out, but that was a bit too ambitious of a plan. Mango will end up taking a fall, and Interactive Philippines were able to find a kill at just the back of 2 heroes going in on that. And it might just be Play Hard who's the next target. The Ice Blast, they hit the Lion, and he's going to end up falling. Yona actually blinked forward and is going to eat a Ghost Ship, but the question is, Grey don't actually have the resources to stand here and fight, as Yona has activated his refraction. The Centaur, unfortunately, is frozen in time, but Yona's allies have actually abandoned him here. In what was a very surprising teleport out by the rest of his team. And because of this, Grey were able to turn the death of their carry into a near even exchange. Jotun. Interactive Philippines going to go in for Roshan here. As Grey, they don't have many of their ultimates up. The Stampede down for about 20 seconds. Of course, it is expected that Interactive Philippines will be able to take down Roshan, because they, at the end of the day, they do possess an Ursa warrior on their own side. Roshan to fall, the Aegis to be claimed. The question on my mind is, what are Interactive Philippines going to be able to do with this? They certainly do need some objectives. Now, Jed does or rather, he actually doesn't have a Blink Dagger. That is a huge power spike for the Ursa that he is currently missing. And perhaps this Aegis take was a bit too preemptive from their side. Certainly would have done wonders if he had that Blink Dagger, so he could have been going for all kinds of initiations, translate that into objectives, but he's going to spend quite a few minutes of that Aegis trying to get that farm up. Meanwhile, bot side, the Ursa's farming away, and that means the rest of Interactive Philippines are going to be targets when they show up on that lane, but seems like this time around there's a lot of support that goes, a lot of help that Interactive Philippines are willing to put out for their supports that they seem to be unwilling to do for their carries. At the end of the day, it's only going to be a support kill, even though both... Rikusu? Wasn't really... in the right position. But it seems like over on that mid side, again, we was able to find the Doom on towards the Kunkka, but this time around the Stampede is there and Gray is just simply going to be able to walk this one away. Or is he? There is a refraction charge. Yona does have that Blink Dagger, won't even need it as Wee's Doom was able to take Kunkka out, and Young Ji, who came to the aid of his mid laner, is going to end up taking a fall beside him. Grey have just lost 2 cores and they are looking a bit sloppy right now.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
A teleport towards that Tormentor. Again, Jed has the ability to go for that solo Tormentor, but I mean, having support always goes a long way. Saturi is going to be picking up that shard. 30% lifesteal in the duration of Pierce the Whale, not exactly the most at the highest of value. Oh, Jotun. Is he going to be able to take down Rikusu? A few swipes, the Wrath of Nature is going to be coming in. Turns out won't even need it. Unfortunately, his teleport was cancelled out, so he's stuck over here for about 5 seconds. And he had one dead shot from Saturi, a killing spree, and a death of the Nature's Prophet. 21 minutes. I believe Jotun was waiting for the Shrine of Wisdom, but then he saw the Ancient Apparition coming in, and he thought to himself, why not?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Jed. Wonder Boy. In a bit of trouble. Mango is here too, does have that Stone Gaze, and there is no Doom. In fact, there's not a lot of ultimates available on Interactive Philippines. So do they really want to be defending this? Turns out they just want to be getting back. They only want a few pickoffs, and they're not looking for trouble. They're not looking to face against the Gorgon just yet. Jed is continuing to farm away, playing a more carry-oriented Ursa rather than a counter to the Medusa, and we'll see how that ends up working out for them 10-15 minutes from now. But Jed, he's actually going to see Mango, going to turn around on towards Mango he goes, but the Stone Gaze means that Interactive Philippines can't really chase him, and Grey are going to be just fine for now. Of course, no ability, no way to creep skip outside of Jotun, who is busy protecting his Medusa more than he is, or rather, currently he's busy farming.
Dire are scanning. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Interactive Philippines. Seems like they're looking very well prepared for this game, and they might want, or rather, might have a great chance of actually tying this game out and going to a game 3. But Grey, they want to go for a counterplay. They want to go in for a smoke, and it's on towards Sajari. A finger of death to start it off, and the mortar is going to fall pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Interactive Philippines have actually chosen to bring in that counter initiation, and they use the Doom on towards that Kunkka, but the Centaur Stampede actually means Kunkka is able to run quite a bit of distance before he ends up falling. And can Grey actually hold their ground over here with their Medusa? They have no control in the fight. They have no way to actually hold a hero down for their Medusa, and that just means that Interactive Philippines, they can get the kill on the Kunkka and then just exit. Yona sitting at about 14,000 in terms of net worth. Let's see.
Dire's top tower is under
We has the Crimson Guard, hasn't gone for many utility, or rather high value utility items that are single target in nature. Instead has gone for the team value, and Grey is so far still unable to find anything as they're losing their Nature's Prophet too. I wonder if they'll be able to mount up a response to IAP similar to the last game. I mean, in the last game, the scenarios were completely different.
Radiant are scanning.
Grey were winning the early game and the mid game. This time around, they're going to have to mount up a comeback, as the lead has gone 6,000 in favor of the Radiant side. Wonder Boy. Oh, Play Hard was trying to go find that Doom, but unfortunately blinked towards the wrong side there, and Grey are not going to be able to find anything with that smoke. Mango on that hike, on that tier 2 at least. So Grey still do have the capacity to instill some fear in Interactive Philippines. This tower took quite a bit of beating, and there was no response that IAP brought to against this. But they do have the Doom, and this time around with V's positioning, this does seem like IAP are posturing to defend this tier 2 tower rather than give it away for free. We will have to see that initiation, and perhaps it's going to be by V starting it out. He's waiting. The tower has fallen though, so I'm not too sure what he's waiting for. Is it for Grey to actually fall back a bit? But Mango will see quite a few of these heroes, Rikusu as well as the Templar. This time, Grey actually have spotted out that Roshan. Unfortunately though, the Nature's Prophet was spotted out by Interactive Philippines, and Jed's going to get the Nature's Prophet, going to kick down the Furion. Is this going to be enough